They are horrific scenes, aren't they, in Kabul at the moment?
It's absolutely terrifying, Tim. You just cannot imagine it. And I think that description of how people are trying to get to the airport and what's facing them when they get there. Imagine fleeing the Taliban, getting to the airport, and there are Taliban gunmen right there and beating you back with sticks. I mean, it is just horrific. It's an horrific scene at the moment.
We've got a full interview with former Prime Minister John Howard coming up on Sunday Agenda with Kieran Gilbert, our chief anchor. And in there, Mr Howard has been critical of the way the US particularly has handled it by not leaving an army there, virtually just up and leaving and seeing what's happened. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think the whole thing has been chaotic. I think it's an absolute nightmare for the Afghan population on the ground. We have seen this coming for months. Australian veterans have been seeing this coming for months. They've been screaming at our government to get people out, the interpreters that saved their lives when they were there. So this could have been planned much better. It should have been planned much better, and we should have been getting people out far earlier than this. The chaos that we're seeing at the moment really should have been avoided. And it's, I feel for everybody now who is either trying to get out or who is frantically working around the clock to get people out. This should never have happened.
We're seeing rhetoric from the Taliban saying that, no, we've changed, this is the way we're going to operate in the future. But there's no grounds to believe any of that, is there, when we look at the past?
Well, I think you only have to look at what's happened more recently. Amnesty International released a report just yesterday highlighting the massacre of 9 Hazara men in July who were brutally tortured to death. We have the evidence of how they were killed. We know exactly how this organisation operates. We know their views on LGBTQI, on women, on anybody who's a minority group. So I think, the future for Afghanistan is incredibly bleak, and that's why we need governments like Australia to now step up and do more to rescue those who are at immediate risk.
It certainly puts the COVID restrictions and battles in Australia in perspective when you look at these pictures overseas. What can we do as a nation, as a very wealthy, successful Western country? What can Australia do?
Well, I think the first thing we need to do is what we're doing, get people out as quickly as we can, work with our allies to get those people out. There needs to be better coordination on the ground to get people to the airport. That's where the real problem is at the moment. But beyond that, we need to be upping our humanitarian program. We need to be offering at least 20,000 places additional to our current program. This is what Canada's done. This is what the UK's done. The US is stepping up its efforts. We need to at least be matching our allies to show that we have a commitment to the Afghans going forward. We have Afghans here at the moment who are desperate to reunite with their family. We need to be able to process those family reunion applications quickly. And those Afghans and others who have fled the Taliban, who are here and who don't have permanent status, they should be granted permanent status. They should be able to know that they are safe, so then they can bring their family to safety. These are little things that we can do, and we can do very quickly.
Yeah, little but so effective and can help so many people in the process. It's really just, we move away from Afghanistan just for a moment and look more broadly across the rest of the world. How important is it as part of our education, particularly for young people and those that haven't travelled or know anything about the outside world, to understand what goes on beyond our nation? Because it is a little bit of a paradise here, and there's so much around the world where people are suffering.
Well, I think, it's crucial. Travel is crucial. Understanding of the world we live in is absolutely crucial. And I think, we have crisis in our region. We still have the Rohingya and others fleeing the situation in Myanmar, and we still need to be working out what we're going to do with that crisis here in our region. But we do, have the situation in the Middle East. It's a very diverse part of the world, and we should get more people seeing it. I think we're all looking forward to when restrictions ease and we can start travelling again. Australians are actually great travellers, and I think, there's an amazing world out there, but we need to understand why people have to flee, how they get to safety, and then the things that the Australian government can do to support countries that are really looking after the majority of people. You know, we could potentially have another 1 million people flee out of Afghanistan into Pakistan, into Iran, into Tajikistan. And we need to be able to commit to those countries that we haven't forgotten them and show some solidarity with them. But these are parts of the world that not many Australians probably get to. And, you know, hopefully one day we will be able to get back and see all those different parts of the region in the world and get an understanding really of how lucky we are.
Yeah, well said, Dr. Graham. Thom, we'll leave it there. We could talk for a long, long time on this issue because it's a broad subject, but we need to keep our voices heard, and a great message this morning. Thanks for talking to us.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me on.